Hey everybody, Antoine Martel here. Thank you so much for coming back to my YouTube channel. In this video, we're going to be going over the 5 main ways to fund your real estate deals, all right? And these 5 ways have been ways that I have funded my deals for the last 10 years. With my company Martel Turnkey, we've fixed and flipped close to 1,000 houses, and now with Flip System, we're using these same 5 ways to show our Flip System clients and students how to go and fix and flip their first house using these 5 ways, and even making direct introductions to people like this, all right? And for me and my personal story, before we get into the video, I bought my first house, me and my dad bought our first house together, so we didn't raise the money from anywhere, all right? The second deal, third deal, fourth deal, we started using joint venture partners because we used deal number 1 as a case study. So once we had that case study, now we can go and raise money from other people and joint venture partners, which we'll get into in the video. But that's essentially where somebody invests in the deal, funds the deal, and we split the profits. Once you do that 10, 20, 30, 40 times, you can start to look at your interest rate and the financing costs you're spending and try to reduce that cost as much as you possibly can. How can you do that? By not splitting profits, but instead on paying interest every single month. Typically, you'll start with a 12% interest rate. And then as you get more and more skilled, after you do more and more deals, that 12% interest rate is going to go down all the way to 7 or 8%. And then every single deal, the profit margins, the profitability of every single deal goes berserk, and it's great for everybody. It's great for the investor because they're making some passive income. It's great for you because every single deal you make even more cash. All right. So with that being said, let's get into the video. Enjoy, and make sure to like and subscribe. In this section, we're going to talk about funding your real estate projects. And there's 5 main ways to fund your real estate projects. The first one is hard money lenders. Second one is private money lenders. Third is FHA loans. 4 is conventional financing. And 5 is joint venture partners. Hard money lenders are essentially banks that will fund fix and flips or long-term rental projects. Many of them charge what are called points. And these points can be anything from 1 to 3%. And it's a fee that you pay up front to that hard money lender. So let's say your loan amount is $100,000 for your project, and the lender is charging you 3 points. That's a $3,000 fee that you have to pay upfront to that hard money lender on top of the interest payments. Now, these hard money lenders charge anything from 8 all the way up to 13 or 14% annual interest rates. These hard money lenders are great if you're doing fix and flip projects or short-term BRRRR projects. However, they are very expensive. The second way to raise money for your real estate investments is through private money. Now, what private money means, instead of going to a company like a hard money lender and getting a loan from this hard money lender to fund your real estate projects, you go to somebody you know. So I have Bob. Bob has $100,000 in his bank account, and it's just sitting there, and he's not making any return on it. His money's depreciating his bank account. So I go and approach Bob. Hey Bob, I'm buying this house for $50,000, and I'm going to put another $50,000 in renovation. Would you be willing to fund the entire project, and I'll pay you a 12% annualized return, or 1% a month? Bob is going to invest $100,000 and fund my entire project. I'm going to pay him $1,000 a month for 6 months until the project is sold, and then I give him his $100,000 back. I prefer the private money route over the hard money route because it's way less paperwork and way easier to work with Bob than to work with some big hard money lender if shit were to hit the fan. The third way to fund your real estate investments is through FHA financing, or first-time homeowners loans. The benefit of these loans is that you only have to put 3.5% down. The downside is that you have to live in the property. So let's say you bought a duplex for $200,000. You only put 3.5% down on that property. You live in one of the units and rent out the other unit, and hopefully the rent from that other unit can cover most of your living expenses. This is called house hacking, and this is a strategy that a lot of people use in very expensive markets where their cost of living is way too expensive. Again, FHA financing is not something that you can really use to invest in real estate out of state because you actually have to live in the property for at least a minimum of 1 year. But on the side, if you want to find a new place to live and you can buy a property locally with FHA financing, run the numbers and see if the number works in your area. The fourth way is through conventional financing. Now, when we sell our turnkey properties to our clients, 99% of them use conventional financing. Conventional financing is typical Fannie Mae financing where you come and put 20% down at a 3 to 5% interest rate for 30 years. It's going to be probably the lowest cost financing you can get on the market. Now, this kind of financing is going to be great for turnkey rental properties or other rental properties that you can buy on the market that are just long-term holds in your portfolio. The banks to get these kinds of loans are going to be very strict. just like the FHA financing. They're going to want to see 2 years of W-2 or 1099. You have to have a good credit score, and you also have to have the down payment seasoned in your bank account for the last couple of months. The last and final way to fund your real estate investment project is through joint venture partners. When I first started, I didn't have the rapport or credibility to go and raise private money at 12%, so I had to give these investors a little more return in order for them to invest in my projects. And I did this through a joint venture agreement and joint venture partnership. What this means is instead of the investor getting a 12% annualized return, they actually get 50% equity in the project. So let's take that same deal that Bob invested in. We're buying the property for $50,000, we're renovating it for $50,000, and let's say we're making $30,000 in profit. Bob would have normally made, if he was a private money lender, $6,000. He would have invested his $100,000 and made 1% per month for 6 months. So he would have invested $100,000, and at the end of the project, he would have gotten $106,000. Now this is great if you can raise money in that way, but again, when I first started, I didn't have the credibility or rapport to do so. What I had to do instead was approach Bob and give him 50% of the profits. So Bob would come in, he would invest $100,000 to get 50% of the profits, which would mean Bob would invest $100,000, and at the end of the 6 months, he would have $115,000, therefore making a $15,000 profit instead of just $6,000.